morning.
Salut.
How are you?
Response.
You're not awake yet?
More coffee.
Yeah. Okay, so while we're setting this up, we're here to share our experience with the ShipIt Day. First of all, it was a great experience for me and Gabriel to went through all this, and we would like to expose what we've learned. But for that, we'll start with something you've never seen before. When we started to talk about the ShipIt Day, and when we saw that, we saw a direct correlation of the ShipIt Day and the values that we're trying to build at Canada. One of them is collaboration. ShipIt Day, we want to build teams. We want to accomplish a goal. We want to innovate by pushing boundaries, by trying new stuff, letting every stuff that prevent us to innovate on our day-to-day to be away from us one day. And ultimately, you'll see through the presentations that I think we've reached some of the passions through the participants that were in the ShipIt Day project. I'll let Gabriel go on.
So just a quick, I don't know how this thing works, high tech, but I think that's fun. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So just a quick overview on what a ShipIt Day is, very brief because most of you were here. It's basically a 24-hour period for developers to work on a project that they pick without the normal constraints of day-to-day kind of like, standards, language, because my boss told me to. It's basically they come up with an idea and they decide like, hey, this is a cool idea, let's work on it. Can I gather support for my idea from other developers? Can I form a team? And can we then execute and implement that idea in a very short time frame? Basically, any development rules can be broken as far as constraints to language, or we do things called code sniffing, so everything has to pass a certain format before you can submit it. But for the 24-hour period, all that's relaxed, so you can pretty much do what you need to do to get everything done, and then go back later and fix it and make it all beautiful. It's a chance for them to innovate. Sometimes jobs get a little boring, and maybe you're tired of doing the same thing every day, so you get a chance to like spread your wings and just be like, hey, you know what? I want to try this crazy idea that I've been thinking of. Let's see what we can do. On top of that, the goal for the teams who are participating is to have a prototype at the end of the 24-hour period. It's not necessarily to have, some full solution from A to Z all done, working great with unit tests and 100% starts making money the next day. It's really to have something to show like, look, we did something cool. Think about and imagine where this can go. So that's kind of what their goal is. And it gives them a chance to fail gracefully as well. So a lot of times, if we fail in our normal work, there are consequences. It's embarrassing, or there's negative impact on sales and revenue. In a ShipIt Day, you can fail without consequence. So you're more likely to do something which may fail. Bonus side effects of that is it builds buzz amongst the devs and amongst just the community as a whole. There were lots of people asking me before and after, hey, what the heck is a ShipIt Day? What's going on? The devs were talking about it amongst themselves. There was a lot of activity going on in the different communication forums that we have, whether it was the chat or the email or just crossing by people in the hallway. It improves the geek culture in a positive way. There's many negative aspects to geek culture, but we're trying to foster the positive ones. So instead of having like, a bunch of geeks all in their corners doing their own thing, it's trying to bring them all together to share and to grow and to do things together as a team. And as I already said, it helps you break away a little bit from the day-to-day grind. Our objective in doing the ShipIt Day was to increase the communication amongst the teams, amongst the developers in the teams. So we often have had a problem in the past of invisible walls being up between the teams, where my team and another team will all be working on the same thing, and at the end of the day we have 3 solutions that do exactly the same thing, and we had no idea that we were even working on it. So this kind of gave us a way to cross-breed the different teams to try to break a little bit out of the silos that we're in our normal work. So our main objective was really to increase communication, to help the developers interact with each other, and to really get to know the other developers and the other groups that they may not work with on an everyday basis. Very quickly, the shipping process, it's a couple of different stages. The first one is writing shipment orders, which is, this is my idea, this is what I'd like to do. and that's pretty much it. You just get together, you brainstorm with the other people, and you say, hey, come up with some ideas, write them down, and submit them. You have to include who you're going to be working with and what it is you're going to be building. And for this particular one, we had 5 containers, which were just kind of general themes that the topics had to fit in, whether they were architecture or languages and standards or innovative ideas. It was just a general category that the teams had to make sure that their projects fit into one of these categories. Those are the idea that we have with the containers. The second step after the shipment orders are written is the review. So we assembled a team of experts, and we invited them to come review all of the orders that had been submitted. We asked them to please accept those orders so that they could give their tacit approval to say, like, hey, this is okay, we're giving approval for you guys to do the projects that you want to do. So every proposal was approved. And the following step was the planning, which was another meeting. This was also before the actual day event. So it's like an hour meeting around lunchtime where everybody gets together, all the teams are there. You rally around a certain project, and you decide, yeah, that's the one that I want to work on, and this is my team, and we want to work on this project together. So you commit to the shipping order, and you finalize and start a pre-plan of, okay, what are we going to do on the day of the shipping day, and what do we need ahead of time? So if I need to set up any virtual machines, if I need to set up my computer in a certain place, that stuff you should all think about and get done before the day starts. So this is just kind of lead up to the product assembly, which is really the ShipIt day. This is the 24-hour period. It starts at noon and it goes to noon the next day, where you have that 24-hour period to work and do whatever you need to do to get your product assembled. So all the teams were working in a bunch of different places all over the office. You probably saw them. Making lots of noise and shooting each other with Nerf guns, although that kind of happened later in the evening. But yeah, this is the grunt of it, and we have here, this is the time for them to think, create, share, code. So that's the meat of the project. There's lead up and then there's after, but this one slide is the meat of what was going on for the devs. And then at the very end we have the shipping, which is the presentation. So you've worked 24 hours, and you have something to show for it, ideally. So we had a big meeting, a bunch of people were here in this room, and the teams got to show off their individual products. It was a 5-minute pitch, some people went a little bit over, but they were also allowed to buy more minutes with dollars, Seedbox Federation dollars. That was a good idea, I had a lot of positive feedback from that. So every team presented their project, this is what we did, this was the team, this is what we ended up with, our final result, and then we allowed the audience to kind of vote them off or let them stay on the island. The audience was very generous this time, so that's a positive thing. So all the teams were able to ship some. And pass it back to Francis.
So we talked about the process. Now let's talk about the result of that process. I think it was an awesome project for us, but the numbers speak for themselves. We had 18 projects submitted at the shipment rating. That's a lot. 9 teams organized around 9 projects. So for the shipment date, 9 teams were formed and were working on a project. We had 34 participants across the company, coming from 9 departments. That's all departments here at Gamma that have development workforce in it. We have 7 developers out of the 30 that spend the whole night. If you don't call that passion, I don't know what is. Food. We bake 36 sausages. We had 48 energy drinks. We had 60 bottles of beer and some alcohol to maintain the Balmer Peak. If you don't know the Balmer Peak, go look it up.
Come see us after.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but those are the projects that were built during the shipment day, and each sign represents a team member. You can see in it that there was a lot of people coming from different teams, and that's the cool part. we said that we want to increase collaboration and communications. And when you see this, when you see people coming from different teams coming together and working sometimes on a project that it's not normally their day-to-day. I'm looking at the web crawler where we had 2 people from Fame. They've never worked on that kind of project. We had people from Innoveo working on a scheduling conference applications. It's really cool. It's not part of their day-to-day, but they decided to take on a project like that. The surprise for us, 9 out of the 9 projects were shippable. That was more than what we could have hoped for. 2 projects made it to production. BIP My CMS and the domain model generator. It was for us a surprise that at the end of the ShipIt day that we would have something. We were thinking that the first ShipIt day, if we can complete the ShipIt day, it would be awesome. But getting project in production, it's unspeakable. 4 projects are currently being taken on by different teams. So that means that 4 other projects might made it to production. Our lesson. It was really cool to do the ShipIt day. One thing we can assume is we achieved the objective to increase communication. And every single developer that took part of it told us that the communication and the way that they were able to talk to different team members also improved their day-to-day job. You'll see some of the testimonials. 9 successful projects. There's nothing we can say about that. Some developers even say that they've learned a lot during that project. So we increased knowledge among developers. I've seen some junior developer pairing with senior developer and working on a project that is normally architecture. It's a great way to get exposed to some back-end stuff that you're not normally exposed to. It took, from me and Gabriel, a lot of times to prepare that day. I think we didn't know what we were getting into when we started to do that. It was a great venture, one that we're really proud of. And the last point, some of you made the comment, yes, the presentation part was a little bit long. We'll have to readdress that in the future.
I heard Nerf guns work for that particular problem.
Next shipping window. So yes, we're planning to do it again. Our first thought was to do it every quarter, but organizing it made us realize that doing it every quarter is we're either going to hang themselves or we're not going to get as much participants. So we decided to do it twice a year. Next one will be in fall. We would like to keep the same objective that we got, so increase communication, but we would like to add to that 4 new objectives. Increase participation, so that means maybe getting more developer into the ShipIt day, but also see if there's other people that would like to take part of the ShipIt day. A little more influence from business people to sell their ideas. We put sell in bold. We'll find some channels for you to be able to influence teams, to buy teams if you want, but that's something that needs to be worked out. We would like to have at least 5 completed projects in the next ShipIt day. Knowing that we deliver 9, it should be that hard. Improve communications between organizer and the participants. So one of the comments that we got is sometimes the information didn't come across. We would like to work that out for the next ShipIt day. So feedbacks. We sent a survey to every participant and some of the feedback that we got. Let's do it again. Really nice to have everyone come together. No lunch on the first day. Not enough beer. We got hungry at 4 a.m. Town ShipIt day was fun. Was cool to see people having fun. Beer, food, collaboration. Atmosphere and discussion were awesome. that's a small snippet of the comments that we got. They all are positive. Last part, I would like to thank some people. Ida, thanks for your help preparing, catering today. Bruno, which is not here, for being the cameraman, but also helping us supervise during the ShipIt day. The developer that took part in ShipIt day. Every one of you that allowed that day to happen. Some of you had spent a day in your sprint. Some of you are also in a critical position, and even then you allowed that day to happen. And everyone that came to the presentation. So, thank you. Question? Yep.
How does it work when a project seduces a team and then the team takes it? What's the process afterwards? How can they complete it?
So first of all, the PO has to approve that they want to take it on. So he has to write a user story. After that, the team has to make sure it follows the development standard. So they will gather the information of the ShipIt Day project, try to see if there are possible hiccups with our current architectures, development standards, if they need to modify stuff, make it production ready. And after that, it's the standard development process.
So you said there were 4 that were injected in teams, or a team said they want to do it, so it's really that team that's going to handle the whole project? And
it's not necessarily the team that built the ShipIt Day project that is putting it in production. So let's say for the Pimp My CMS, platform team decided to complete the project, which was done by Colin and Olivier Fati. Thank you. Yes?
Just to add that our team did the scheduling. It just so happens that we're actually going to be doing the scheduling. So after we launch Blazing Bucks. Yeah.
Yes?
From what you learned, what will you do as an improvement for next time?
We haven't transferred everything into action item. We're more than willing to hear feedback. We're still as the gathering feedback phase.
But just top of your head, I'm sure you have a few ideas already that you probably like to do a different way next time.
We'll shrink down the presentation time
Okay, I was expecting this one.
by at least 2/3.
Also based just on the feedback that I got from the participants, a lot more clarity in this is how it's going to work for you guys, because there was a lot of miscommunication as far as like, are we getting paid? Are we not getting paid? Is there like, how is my hours working? Like I'm working 24 hours, but I'm not getting paid. Like that was a big point of almost all the negative feedback we got from developers was around that point. So I think a lot just clarity on this is exactly what's going on. This is exactly how it's going to work. This is when we're serving food. The food issue was the other big issue that the negative comments was like, the sausages, everyone was like, am I going to get a sausage? Because we were coming around and people didn't know. So for sure, a little bit more clarity on that. Like, hey, maybe next time we'll have like, okay, dinner's going to be served in a conference room at this time. Be there if you want to eat. Otherwise, go out to dinner. But those are a couple of things that just based on the immediate feedback that I've had from the developers, I would like to change for the next one.
Any other question? Carl?
It's more of a comment than a question. I have to say that I was very proud to see that whole event happening, all the passion it created and all the collaboration. It was great to see. And I'm very happy that people enjoyed it, and I really hope that we can organize it again in fall.
To add to Carl, comments, during the shipping day, you guys were posting stuff on Twitter and Facebook. I was sharing this with my geek friends, and everyone was impressed to see that we were able to do those kind of activities.
As a follow-up from that as well, I also got nice comments from people who follow my Twitter stream saying, oh, nice, cool, we'd like to do that, or let me know how it went. Yeah.
Just to add to that and to encourage us to keep on doing that, It did, there were increases in site traffic that day when you guys were posting the vlogs and sending out tweets and that sort of stuff. So it had an impact on, you know, the overall, you know, kind of promotion of our brand as well. So it had an external impact too.
Cool.
It was also just to add, and I know I sent you guys an email, but it's one of the, and I've been here almost 4 years, it's one of the days I've been most proud to be an employee here was when sitting in and watching those presentations.
Thank you, guys.
Good job, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Good presentation.